There was a Cool G rap record called Hey Mr. Mister. This was about 95, 96. And the rhyme content was real controversial. And at the time, he was on Epic, and Epic is like a major, major label. And I don't know, it didn't really have any, you know, obvious samples. I don't even know if it was a sample, but it was something where it was like, you know, maybe because of the content, the record label couldn't release it because this is Epic, and they don't want to be responsible for the stuff he was saying on there. But you know, that was a record I actually have on White Label. It had Hey Mr. Mister, and the B-side was just the instrumental. And, you know, that's one of my prized possessions because that song never came out legitimately because it was so over the top controversial, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That reminds me, there's stuff where, there's some things that Biggie did that are, you know, kind of more fucked up and like
Yeah.
Renaissance or whatever, that now that his parents or his mom owns the estate, she's not going to let that track
Not let it
out.
come out. Yeah, but then, like I said, there were people who were working in studios back then. You know, they might have had copies leaked to radio shows like college radio, underground radio, and the stuff gets played. And you had people who, like me, who taped the radio shows. You know what I'm saying? And somebody might be a Pro Tools whiz and be able to clean it up a little, and boom, you have a White Label.
And when the Henny's in me, I'm fucking green bitches like Kurt. When the cum spurts, I'm out, bitch. You know what I'm about, bitch. Hit them, quit them, forget them. Fist fuck them, dump them in the truck and...
And sometimes, you know, people, like I said, would just steal somebody's dad. Like if somebody was hot at the time and you worked at a studio or you knew somebody in the camp or somehow you got your hands on a cassette or a DAT, you know, you press them. Doesn't matter the quality. I've heard White Labels that sounded just awful, you know, because they were pressed from cassettes. Some were pressed from radio shows, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just wanted the music any way they could get it. And at that point, the internet wasn't the tool that it is now.
If you're going to go try and track down some of this stuff yourself, you might look for things that were done by the Vinyl Reanimators. They were a production crew on the East Coast in the late 90s who did a lot of interesting work. There's also a really great version of ODB's Baby I Got Your Money with the Dr. Dre beat behind it instead of the one by the Neptunes that came out on the proper record.
The people want the record. You know what I'm saying? Dre, ODB, people want that record. And it's like, the labels are being greedy, like, oh, for you to clear to use my artist, we want this much money. And while they're sitting over there bickering how much it's gonna cost, somebody with a dad is like, hey, I'm gonna press 500 and put it in the mom and pops. And you know, you can't, the demand of the people, you can't ignore it because it's always gonna come back and bite you in the ass. And I think that's why a lot of major labels right now are fading out. That's why Tower Records is gone. I mean, they try to use litigation, do everything by the book, but when people want music, they're gonna do what they gotta do to get it.